Nintendo Direct, plenty of trailers and news, Mario Kart adding characters as well. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Wave 4 got a tease in the last Direct a couple days ago, and most of this discussion I talked about in my Direct follow-up discussion, but I figured why not give the Mario Kart part its own video. Yoshi's Island's becoming a new track for Mario Kart, Birdo's added to the game, Wave 4's dropping sometime during spring, and while most of this discussion will focus on the characters and the nuance that came with that announcement, I'm gonna make some of this just talking about Yoshi's Island itself as well. So before the character talk, I am floored at how Yoshi's Island looks. The design of the track itself seems good, but the art style and visual design trying to replicate Yoshi's Island fairly well is wild. The island itself literally is what Yoshi's Island looks like on the title screen from the Yoshi's Island game. There are the seagulls, the giant blue blob monster from Yoshi's Island, the apple tree at the starting line with the flag having the actual logo for Yoshi's Island, like the other crossover tracks, bouncing chain chomps, the little question clouds you throw eggs at for puzzles and stars and such. Hitting it here makes a bridge, another path to drive on. It's an incredibly faithful homage to Yoshi's Island. It's that extra mile of sub-series fan service I wish more Mario games did when incorporating sub-series like Wario Land, WarioWare, Donkey Kong, Luigi's Mansion, the Mario RPGs, etc. It's kind of like what DK Jungle did in Mario Kart 7 and 8, but it's definitely more faithful and creative here, with just the aesthetic and entire geometry of the island itself. This track was data mined in Mario Kart Tour way back when, but that hardly does anything in dampening the hype when the track unironically looks this good, and when it potentially could be one of the best tracks in the entire Booster Course Pass. The track looks incredible, can't wait to play it when it drops, but something more interesting for most Mario Kart fans came when the Direct revealed Birdo would be added to the game. Besides Mario Kart Tour, because Mario Kart Tour, Birdo has not been playable in a main Mario Kart for a decade and a half. She's been absent in a lot of Mario spin-offs, and she's now recently making an active comeback, which is awesome. All her color variants are here as well. They're using her model and animations and such from Tour as a basis, like all the BCP tracks, which is to be expected, but is still a welcome treat. Not only that, but Nintendo confirmed in the rest of the waves, waves 5 and 6, returning characters will be making their way to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That is very pleasant news. That is very exciting. You could have done this a year ago. You had a whole year. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad this is happening at all. More characters is literally the one thing. Besides better graphical quality, that's the one thing everyone wanted out of the BCP a literal year ago. With each wave, it's looking like they're adding extra stuff and playing it by ear, despite the BCP was advertised with only just bringing back retro tracks, which is even 100% accurate when you look at Sky High Sunday, and now Yoshi's Island too, because they're a new track. It would have been far more effective marketing-wise if they did it a year ago. At least now it's continuing to make Mario Kart 8 Deluxe a more definitive Mario Kart, but better late than never. It took a year while BCP's still active, would have saved a lot of trouble and backlash, but it's fine. It's fine. Even when Nintendo states returning characters particularly, I don't think it's going to be that specific or cut and dry, because even when they list retro tracks as the main attraction for the BCP, they still went and added tour tracks that weren't even a month old. And again, Sky High Sunday and Yoshi's Island, there are still new tracks, and the last update also adding custom items, something completely out of left field and anticipated by no one. So while you have retro characters like Diddy Kong, Petey Piranha and whatnot that can return in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now, I don't think this debunks the idea of any of the new characters in Tour coming to 8 Deluxe either, since they do technically still qualify as retro characters. Pauline, King Bob-Omb, Nabbit, Kamek, Charge and Chuck, Dixie Kong, Hammer Fire, Boomerang and Ice Bro, Monty Mole, Peachette maybe SNES Mario or SNES DK Jr. if we're lucky, but now there's a pretty strong pool of possible characters they can add to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The only major question I feel with this announcement, I think a lot of us are having, is how many? How many characters do they plan to add to the game? If this was announced last year, it'd be one thing. They could probably have a much bigger pool if they literally did this a year ago. But if Birdo's the only new character out of Wave 4, we only have 2 waves left for more major additions to the roster. And we don't know if the other waves will stick to a certain number per wave, like 3 characters per wave, like with Mario Kart 8's DLC back on the Wii U. If they'll add 2 next wave, then 3 the next, if they'll go all out and deliver on just adding most of the new characters, or play it safe with a smaller number and stick with ones like Diddy and 1 or 2 more to play it safe. We don't really know their route for what kinds of characters they want to add to 8 Deluxe now. Primarily how many they want to add. Originally, just purely because of the structure of the roster being organized in a 6x7 character format, I was expecting there to be like 5 or 6 more additions, 5 to 6. They adopt the structure Vanilla 8 did with its DLC characters. But between the nature of them just ramping up the BCP's quality with each wave, like this, and the custom items and whatnot, us winding down the DLC's duration, after this we only have 2 waves, and given Mario Kart Tour will also shut down and all these tracks being put in 8 are meant as a length of preserving them to some degree, I'm kind of starting to envision they might go hog wild and add most of those new characters on top of whatever retro characters they have that appeared in Mario Kart before. If I was looking at the original 5 to 6 angle, there are 5 to 6 characters left, let's assume that's the case for now. There's basically a 100% chance Diddy Kong's in there for obvious reason. He's been in multiple Mario Karts before, he's in Tour, he's a popular character in Mario spin-offs, in Donkey Kong. Why wouldn't you throw Diddy Kong if Birdo's coming back, you know? Not only him though, I feel like Petey Piranha's basically in that camp too. He's in Mario Kart Tour, he was in Double Dash, he's a popular Mario boss as well. I know he'd make for a deeper cut than most other candidates, alongside bringing Piranha Plant Cove as a banger original track from Tour. And to make it feel even more surreal, Funky Kong's back on the table again for a console Mario Kart. He's the most popular character in Wii, in design, personality, and stats. He's in Tour, and he'd make everyone go insane. It's a wrap if Funky Kong comes back, because he's that legendary amongst the Mario Kart fandom, especially for Wii. But the fact it's even possible, let alone very likely, to think Funky Kong is going to be in a normal Mario Kart again since Wii is wild and incredible. Someone I have some doubts towards, but would also be unbelievably wild and a deeper cut than either Funky or Petey. Rob? Mario Kart DS? Such a bizarre, off-the-wall addition to the game, but was low-key one of the best characters to ever grace Mario Kart. Even when Mario wins the matchup, I can't stand Rob in Smash Ultimate, but everyone can agree Rob is based when it comes to Mario Kart. I have some doubts. I'm not completely denying the idea though. Otherwise, for now I'll say 6 characters. Diddy Kong, Petey Piranha, and Funky Kong I think are all incredibly likely to come in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like borderline 100% to 100%, depending on who you are. And I do think the other 3 will be some of the newer ones we got in Tour. The obvious one, Pauline. She's been one of the most popular candidates for Mario Kart, one of the most popular characters in Tour. Everyone wants her in more Mario spin-offs. She's been in several already with Tennis Aces, Golf Super Rush, and Strikers Battle League, so her in 8 Deluxe is already unbelievably obvious. And as far as the other 2, I'd pick for the absolute bare minimum to join the other 4. I think one would be King Bob-Omb. He's only been in Tour, but he fits so unbelievably well in Mario Kart, has been a side character slash boss in plenty of Mario games since Super Mario 64. He'd make a ton of people happy so quick. The last one though, I'd toss between Nabbit, Kamek, or Dixie Kong. I'm low-key feeling like it'd probably be Nabbit. He's pretty synonymous with modern Mario since New Super Mario Bros. U. He's appeared in several titles since as well, Golf World Tour, Mario Luigi Paper Jam, and whatnot. I think he'd add a smidget more variety too to the roster, given his design and personality. I would not complain if Dixie or Kamek took his spot though. Both are very strong fits for Mario Kart, who are also in Tour. Kamek's been requested for a while, and no one cared about him in Tour because it's Mario Kart Tour, but you put him in a normal Mario Kart, you elicit a much stronger and larger positive reaction so much more easily. Dixie Kong also was about as requested for a while since Wii, I'd say. It's Diddy's girl, she's got spunk, is a popular Donkey Kong character, she makes easy sense too. But if I had to think of 6 characters as the bare minimum likeliest candidates after Birdo, in my opinion, it'd be Diddy Kong, Petey Piranha, Funky Kong, Pauline, King Bob-Omb, and Nabbit. But Nintendo potentially raising that bar and doubling that to add some more newbies from Tour, I think is a very viable possibility too. The Hammer Bros family can easily take up one spot with the variations being selected like with Link or Inkling's alternates. Kamek's a very popular and obvious candidate. Dixie Kong's another popular and easy candidate. Charging Chuck's on a similar spectrum to King Bob-Omb, so he'd probably make for a solid 8 Deluxe edition. Monty Mole would probably elicit the most neutral or indifferent reaction out of everyone, but he'd make for a decent addition anyways, and Peachette would probably be in there just for a balanced measure, despite basically being another Peach skin. That's like 12 to 16 characters, whether based on the 6 columns or 7 rows of 8 Deluxe's rostered. Around that range is best case scenario for everyone involved, and I think all those guys would unironically be able to be added to 8 Deluxe. I think they could go hog wild and split them up in 2 waves after wave 4. I genuinely do. They have multiple reasons to do so, and looking directly at Birdo, they have all the assets and means to just plop them in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with little struggle whatsoever. If it's just a curated selection, like 6 more or so, then yeah, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, Petey Piranha, Pauline, King Bob-Omb, and Nabbit are the bare minimum selections, but those guys, plus Dixie Kong, Kamek, Charge and Chuck, Hammerfire, Boomerang, and Ice Bro all in one slot, Monty Mole and Peachette as another column, I believe is completely possible too. Maybe Rob replacing one of them or stacked somewhere, maybe SNES, Donkey Kong Jr. or Mario. Doubtful for them compared to everyone else. I'd also wonder if they bother reporting some of the skins over, like Captain Toad and Tracker Toadette, or the Dr. Mario variants, because those specifically have different emblems, like every other actual character, but they're just as much reskins and recolors like every other recolor and reskin in Tour, so I figured it might be doable to make even a small number of them selectable across some characters. But with characters like Metal Mario, Pink Gold Peach, Tanuki Mario, and Cat Peach, I'd wonder if they just dodge that bullet altogether and just settle for 6 to 12-ish normal characters. We'll see. It's whatever. We're finally getting more characters in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, when we low-key should have a year ago. The possibilities are exciting, Yoshi's Island's exciting, Birdo's exciting, the BCP keeps getting more and more exciting, and I'm looking forward to what surprises are in store for the rest of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Tell me your thoughts and predictions in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see what other Mario Kart and Mario videos I have in store for you guys in the future. Discussions? Gameplays? Let's Plays? Analyses? Mods? Ooh, we'll just have to see. Stay super.
Yeah.